Okay, it started. It has started.
I was waiting for him to hit record.
No, we're recording. We are recording.
You know what?
Alex.
You know what? I'm just gonna bring it in. Alex, no. If you want to stay. Welcome to Hoffcast. We are.
Do not masturbate.
Don't masturbate.
No
That's
Country
the only
for Old
rule.
Men is not going to be on a TV
Okay.
anywhere.
If Gabor says something insightful and Tito says something cheeky and Kenny says something witty, if you just start like stroking out, it might be a
Is
bit
that how
witty.
you see me?
Insightful. Oh,
Fucking
I thought I was the witty one. Fucker.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle to see who's going to drop the one-liners
No.
out of the two of you.
Now the red.
You're gonna have to
Now
behave.
the red lights on. We got to be quiet.
All right, see you, Alex.
When the light's on, man.
I know you get all nervous.
Oh hell no.
You do get nervous a bit, Kenny.
Yeah, of course.
More than I expect. More than he has this swagger and this.
Not when he sings.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah,
When he
he's
sings,
fine, yeah.
he sings and he's into the song. He's got great fucking stage presence. Can we use these words?
Yes.
You can use any fucking
Okay,
word
good.
you want.
Just checking.
Have you not? Who's the most famous podcast guy?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he just hits record and we're on.
Right.
Basically. So
Anyway, no, he's got great stage presence. Maybe when it's an interview or when he has to talk, that's one he might have.
I think I'm fine.
Singing, he's
What is
good.
that? Is it a huge bar of coke?
No, not at all.
Is that
Just a
hash?
thing.
that's what is that?
Soap.
It looks like makeup.
I think it's soap.
It's not hair gel, is it?
It's a yo-yo.
What is that?
It's a yo-yo.
What is that
Killing
tobacco?
me here. Don't mention the hair gel.
Snuff.
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 Snooze.
No.
All right, listen. Let me rein some control in here because we are gonna be here for an hour and a bit, and Gabor's got guests, and Tito has to scuttle his way down the street, and Kenny's got to take off his work pants at some point,
Yeah.
Are you
which are
living here,
caked
Kenny?
with plaster
Are
and.
you living in the bar?
No.
No.
No, I've got a
No.
I've got a nice flat on St. Beach, man.
Oh, that's right. You told. Oh, you still there? Oh, okay. Because I talked
It's
to you.
been hard to keep it.
Because I talked to you on New Year's. You said you were somewhere near Orsh or something. There, and like
Oh no.
up at the fucking student dormitories or something.
Yes, my
Are we?
my
Yep,
current
yep.
my current girl.
Don't worry, I can always
lives
edit.
up at Auschwitz up there.
Guys,
Ah, okay.
now let me
Try to get a
officially
little backstory, sorry.
let me officially. Sorry, Tito.
Hello.
Okay, let me officially start.
Tito-
Don't be sorry. Just don't do it again.
I'm not sorry about what. You got your cigarette backwards. Just make sure you light the right end there, Kenny. We're going to talk about the obvious thing between the three kings. Tito likened it to the boroughs, the 5 boroughs sitting together to talk about the one thing that unites all of you three and anyone who's going to listen in on this.
Cocaine.
How many of the open mic community have actually seen the three of you in one room before?
Not
a
a couple years.
few times.
They have.
Yeah, sure. I'm
Same
sure.
room or same courtyard. Yeah, we have partied together.
Of course.
Come on, there's like video evidence. There's like video
When
posts
did you move
and
here,
stuff.
Kenny?
A year and a half.
You only been here a year.
Only?
Really?
Only?
No.
Yeah, that's the
It
thing.
seems forever, man.
You have
Trust
to count
me.
2020. So like you can't just
A
get
year
away
and
with
a
it.
half, bro.
Really?
If you take away 2020, a year and a half.
So it's
Yeah.
2.5. It's got to be.
It's not 2.5. Nowhere near.
Not
Kenny.
2.5, man?
Did you go to these guys' open mics before?
Tito's first.
What was the? I want to hear the first open mic
was
experience
it
from
that-
each of you first.
How
Before
How did
we-
you find?
1066.
Oh, the 1066 one because of like
Tom Dent works. Tom Dent's like another guy who does.
who's currently my roommate.
He's actually like a very, very cool performer, man. I like Tom a lot. He was the first person I seen when I moved here.
Mhm.
I don't know, like
He's almost Scottish, yeah.
He's almost Scottish. He's North England. Where's he from? Newcastle.
No.
Kinda just outside Newcastle. He's a Macom. That's it.
He's from
Sorry.
Sunderland.
Sunderland.
Don't ever tell him he's from Newcastle. He'll kill you.
So Tom Dent.
So a girl he works with is friends with my wife.
Uh-huh.
And she was at my wedding, and then when we moved there, she says, "Do you want to come out and see some live music?" We went there. It happened to be 1066 at Tito.
And who was you were running it at that time?
At 1066, yeah. I always ran 1066 until
Mhm.
now, whatever it's called, the Barroso.
The Barossa.
No. I don't understand that. Is it supposed to be a play on like?
No, Barossa
Captain
is
Jack,
a
or-
is a
it's an Aussie
it's a
thing?
valley in
Oh,
South Australia.
That's where they grow the wine.
That's where they have the Barossa wine.
Okay. I've
Does
heard
he
of it, but
sell
I didn't
wine?
realize that. I just put that together. I was, for some reason, I was thinking like Captain Jack's, like Blackbeard was Barossa.
Yeah. Barbosa.
That
was Barbosa.
Yeah.
So your first experience with open mic was going to Tito's at 1066 in Budapest.
Yeah.
But you ran one in Scotland, didn't you, at your mom's pub? or
I ran a
something?
couple. I ran one in London.
No.
I've done one in Scotland and one in Essex.
So you did this before, Tito, Kenny. So you have run open mics before,
Yeah. Like the one
back in Scotland.
The one I started in Scotland.
Get closer to the mic, man. Get closer to the mic,
The one
for
I
fuck's sake.
started in Scotland still going now, and it's actually on tonight.
Oh, really?
So if you go on,
There's no
Are they
lockdown in
open?
Scotland.
Are they open?
no, they do. It's just an open mic from their living room, out of like for my mum's bar, Cathay at Bergie's.
Did they invite people over there?
Hmm?
So is it real life or?
They
Or is it like
basically
what we were
no,
Virtual.
No, they play in their house. They
like-
play in their house, but they've been doing it since.
So they invite people over to their house to
They
play.
play in their. What do you mean? No, they just
They're
play in their
gonna
house and they stream it online.
Yeah, but is it just one person or is it a variety of
Sometimes
people?
it's a couple of people in
Yeah,
one place,
okay,
but it's
okay.
mostly just one person.
Oh, okay.
So they've been doing that since the start of the lockdown, and in Scotland since it's been really tough back home
Yeah.
for everybody. Like we've been really lucky here, considering.
At least you didn't
Although
get
it doesn't
fucking
feel
snow
like it now.
Texas.
Because to be honest, guys, coming from Melbourne, we don't have open mics. The concept of an open mic maybe is thrown to the comedy circuit, right?
Which also
you ever look?
spawned in Budapest out of our
Did you ever
out
look?
of our open mic scene. There was no comedy open mic scene here until they started coming to our open mics, and then they started their own little offshoot, and now have their own little brand and everything. But
A couple.
Yeah.
because Yellen was the
Yeah, I
first
know
place
a
that we would
couple.
allow comedians to come. But some people hated it, some people loved it, some people would just get pissed off and walk out of the room. They're like, "This is fucking I came here to
Yeah,
listen
but
to
I've
music."
got.
I'm like,
Listen, I've got my
"Hey,
theories
man, I
on
did it.
comedians.
Everybody's
and open
welcome,
mics.
As he says, everyone gets a chance, but it
I've
wasn't
got-
always like that. Yellen was the first one where I said, "Okay, we can have storytellers, poets, and comedians, whatever."
So spoken
And believe me,
poetry.
yeah, we had people do spoken word. I've had guy read from his new novel. I've had all kinds of shit there. I had a Korean pop band come in there and film for Korean television, which we think might have been North Korean television because they were very, very discreet about who they said they were working for and all of this.
Very
So-
disciplined too.
very
Remember-
disciplined. They gave us all
you-
these little pen sets with paper and stuff, and it was very, very interesting. But they wrote me for like
Really?
3 months before they came, and everything had to be like. And I'm like, this is a fucking open mic, mate. But they came and it was this whole show, and that's why I'm thinking this has to be Kim Jong Un or whoever the hell, Kim Jong Il or whoever it was, dude. Like, oh, one Soviet country, another communist country. They're like, oh, Budapest is still very communist, I don't know, that's what that seemed like. It was very funny though. And that
Gabor-
was like 3 years ago.
Gabor, when did the open mic really start? Because I was here in 2013.
I don't know when it started.
And I didn't hear of any open mic
Yeah,
culture.
listen-
The first I heard of it was from Monica. When I arrived here in 2019, Monica said, my boyfriend runs an open mic. And I thought, open mic, that must be for comedians and stuff like that. Then when I heard that it was actually for music, like proper open mic, but I thought, it would be something a bit daggy, like inside of a corner of a bar, and whoever's just there gets a bit
Oh, there
drunk
has
and
been a
gets
few
up.
of
But I
those.
had no idea that it had a community
I'm
behind
sure
it.
there's a scene everywhere, man. You just need to look for it. There's
Yeah.
probably a scene in Melbourne.
Man, but Melbourne's weird,
the
man. They're all
thing is-
DJs and
the
listen
thing
to
is, it's
fucking,
all-
take drugs. All the
Yeah.
It's all haphazard, man. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen where. The thing is, I've started something, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't start actually open mics in Budapest at all. I mean, there were all kinds of open mics here before, but they were sporadic.
That's
they
what I
were
was
on and
wondering,
off.
whether there was an
They weren't
open
run
mic.
regularly, or
They were on and off. There were several, not just.
There wasn't English-speaking ones until English-friendly ones. Until,
Even
like, he
though there
started
was one that was started by a half English, half Hungarian guy,
Tim.
Tim Atkins, but
Yeah.
it was mostly Hungarian. But there were
And they
other
were
open mics.
They were charging admission and stuff too. It was
Yeah,
weird.
there were other
Oh,
open
really?
mics before that. I would say, I mean, with all due respect, because I like the guy. I mean, I think he's a great guy, but I wouldn't call that an open mic because it was more like a showcase.
It was show, and he was bringing students in from his university and stuff.
Which
to
is
play,
great,
and
there's
they were
nothing
charging
wrong.
some other students to come.
And where were they playing? Where was
It was
the
at Ben Mosey.
Damn.
I think the original ones were at Ben Mosey.
Ben Mosey?
No, you know where Ben Mosey
Ben,
is?
that was one. That was one of the venues, but it wasn't
I
the
don't
only
know where
one.
exactly where, but I remember.
Ben Mosey- Ben Mosey
They
is-
tried to charge me 2,000 forms to get in. I was like,
2,000 by that time? It should be like 500, the last thing I remember.
it was-
But anyway,
but
you know,
maybe
Ben
it was a
Mosey is
special one, I
it's
don't
like
know.
on the Buddha side. It's the continuation of you know Margaret Bridge?
Yeah.
Just a continuation of Margaret Bridge.
You never been to Ben
basically.
Mosey?
No,
Well,
no,
it's,
no.
lately it hasn't been happening.
Well,
That
Parsons,
Plus, I mean,
our friend Chris Parsons lives around the corner, so that's like his local. So if you ever want to go there and drink cheap beer, hang out with Parsons.
What's it called?
not fun.
Ben Mosey. It's a little cinema in there as well. So you go there, you drink, and then there's like they always show the Rock Horror Picture Show.
That's
or
cool.
something like that, the Star Wars or Raiders of the Lost Ark or something.
Hey, you guys, keep this off the on the down low.
I'm being very quiet in this situation because I was never here, so I don't know. Like
You were a late comer.
The first open mic I ever went to wasn't yours. And now that I'm thinking about it, when I moved here, that was Tito's, but I was in one before with like your previous guests, like Susan Smite.
Ah, what at
They used-
Retox?
They used to have one
in the
no,
basement at
Mika?
Mika.
That was banging.
That was
Oh, Mika!
Actually, if we go
That was
back,
crazy.
go back and back, I think theirs was the very first one that they were running for the hostel ones. They were doing it in that basement off
but it wasn't
on,
the first.
on Kishti Ofa or something. That was like I used to go there in like 2013, 2012 or something.
So-
maybe
Okay,
even.
so
So
one
listen,
thing.
But that was
Wait,
for
wait, wait,
hostel
wait.
guests kind
Yeah,
of
exactly.
thing
So
only.
that was
When I-
closed.
when I-
that was a private
Yeah.
party,
You had to
right?
know
So
someone
so
kinda
not
to get
everybody
in.
could go
Was
in.
it really?
Yeah.
It wasn't really.
I
it was
did
open.
actually-
It was open.
Like,
All right,
I
yeah.
actually did
One at a
go
time.
there.
One at a time.
I actually did go there with like someone, so like maybe that's what it was. Sorry.
Yeah, you were saying.
So anyway, just trying to answer your question that it was that series was actually for the hostel guests, and if you wanted to go, you had to either know somebody or you had to be a hostel guest.
Yeah. They
Okay,
weren't
so
very
that's how
friendly
that
to
worked.
having our, like once we started doing our thing, we
Yes.
would bring our people down there who were a bit above the people that were staying at the hostel. And, they would get and there was always this kind of tension, you know, like when Denny first moved here, Denny was like, oh, I want to go and I want to play, I want to show all those kids down. But the Schmike's whole point was it wasn't about being good, it was just about, you know, it was a retox kind of thing. So it was like, go get up there and fuck around and have a good time. you
They
know?
said we were intimidating
Yes.
the hostel guests
They
from
didn't-
signing
they
up
didn't want to
because
play,
we were too good.
We took Rach there one time and Denny. And
Okay,
all them,
so
and
that's
they were
the thing.
Like, oh, we don't want to play now. Those guys are so good.
So basically, we got banned for a while.
we did, yes.
Really?
Yes, and then
we weren't banned from going. We were banned from bringing our friends and letting them play on stage.
Fucking
we were banned
blackballed.
from signing up,
Yeah.
literally for
So
a while.
already it was
For a
starting
while.
to shirk itself as like a bit of a
That's so
karaoke
foreign to
type
me.
style to actually being a bit higher class than just.
I mean, we didn't start it that way. It wasn't meant. We don't like vet the people to get up on stage. It just no thanks. It just most people that turned up to Yellen or Mika, these always were just really good because there's so many people coming in and out of Budapest all the time, and then they would see some of the videos on YouTube and we're like, oh, that looks cool, and then. I think at Yellen I had probably two or three people out of 5 years, almost 5 years, that were shit, that I had to tell them to get the fuck off stage. There was a few regulars that I know that were bad, but I just let them go because they'd always start the night or something. But like people that came and thought they were good, that were just like, oh my god, you're
I
terrible.
could never do that.
But that was what, going back to the Retox thing. But they would just get up there and they didn't give a fuck and they just had a good time. So and I think that was the difference between what they were doing and what we were doing at that time. So.
But when did you notice that there was a regular community coming? This is for these guys because we came in a bit late.
Again, it was haphazard, man. I mean,
But I've got something off the back of this that I want to ask you. But yeah, like when did you notice that it was like
it was an accident.
who was the earliest?
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
consistent show up.
Nugent Head.
Tim Nugent was a veteran because obviously, he had been an important part of the open mic scene in New York City, right? So when he noticed that there were open mics, but they were already open mics at that time, only monthly open mics. Okay, and then I met him. It was a weird ass talent show, and I happened to be a judge, and he was playing, and he was the only one. Okay, there were many performers. Okay, it was a series, and he was the one performer when I had to say, "Listen, I have nothing to say. I have no criticism, no nothing, just good things like, please don't stop, please play us. And then I invited him to be an opening act for my band at that time at
Our
Hunia.
band at the time.
Right.
Your band now, our band at that time.
That band is not my band.
Wait, you guys were in a band together?
That band is actually your
I
band.
remember because I had the
That band is your band. That's not my band anymore at all.
I had the
That
flu-
band is not my band.
What was the
I had
name?
the flu so bad that night. I literally was like, before we went on stage, like lying on the sofa at Hunia, like shaking. And I'm like, I can't play. And I ended up playing and fucking almost died. But,
You guys were in
He
a
pulled
band?
through it. All I could give you was an Advil because we didn't know what
and
else.
Palinka, that was, who's the guy from Hunia? What's his
Solves
name?
any.
Akush.
Akush is like, here, have a fucking,
Palinka,
have another
Advil,
Palinka.
You could maybe
you'll be
solve the
fine.
world's issues right now with a couple of shots of
Right.
And Noel Meyer played with us that night too. Was Noel there that night?
Yeah, he was a guest performer
With-
within the
and the
Young
guy
Forever.
from the New Shoes guy.
Right.
Was he there too?
Yeah. That was that night. And Tim
Anyways,
Nugent
that's
was.
how we met Tim Nugent.
Have a lot of people
Who's
come
now
and...
the Godfather? We call him
Who's
the
the
Godfather
new,
of open
new
mic.
shoes guy?
Wait a minute, what?
That's Takács Tamás. That's a different story. Only Hungarians would know him.
Tangent. Let's not get off on that.
Wait a minute, who's this godfather of open mic that you speak of?
We call Tim Nugent head the
So,
Godfather.
Tim Nugent Head, the guy who owns the art room.
Yeah. The Red Door.
That art
You
area.
know him. Come on, you know
Yeah,
him.
I've met him.
Punt
man.
who?
Huh?
Red Door Punt who?
Yeah,
So basically, he was a big supporter, and he was very, very dedicated to help out. And he would open, even when nobody wants to open usually because nobody's there yet. But he was willing, and he played like half-hour set if necessary, and he was always there on time, and a very good supporter of the
this was
first.
at Mika.
The first weekly open mic was Mika Tibodar, right? And then a few months later, then he started. Well, he basically convinced Tito to start one at Yellen, right? That
So
the
Yellen
base
was
deal.
next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tim and I always go to I would always go to Mika every Wednesday, and Tim was always there, and we started bullshitting because we're both Americans. And then he's like, my girlfriend owns Yellen. I was like, really? And he's like, you should go there and do an open mic. I'm like, well, let me run it past Gabor. He's like, no, I want you to host it. And he said, I said, when? He's like, Mondays. I said, well, there's nothing on Mondays. He said, well, we'll
Right.
give you 6 months to try it, and if it doesn't fucking work, and then, we tried.
What year was this?
2015. I started the 6th of December. It was D-Day. Or
D-Day?
Pearl Harbor Day. Pearl Harbor Day, it was Santa Claus Day as well.
What would
So
tell
we
us?
all wore Santa Claus hats and gave chocolates out to people on the first Yellen at Open Mic at Yellen.
But what was it called? Was it Open Mic Budapest? Was it under your brand? Was
no,
there a
it wasn't
brand
a
yet, or was it
brand.
just
There was
a?
no brand at that
it was
time.
just
There
an
was no
opening
brand
night.
at that
Just,
time.
Yeah, really.
And do you remember that night? Like who performed and
I do
anyone that we
actually.
know?
I have some video of it. Noel Meyer performed that night.
I performed
You
that
performed.
night.
Jeff Joyner of the Serial Killers.
Yeah.
Neil from Neil, the Dead Guys. Neil and Harry. Harry wasn't there, but Neil performed. Neil, what's his last name? Neil
Peters.
Peters. Neil Peters. My friend Declan, who's a famous actor who played in.
What's he in?
He was
Isn't
in
he
the
the
Charlize
Beckett's?
Theron movie that we know where she's the kick-ass. It's kind of like John Wick, but it's with Charlize Theron.
Oh yeah,
he's-
Blondie, or Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde. He's
Yeah.
he's the cab driver that or the taxi driver who she stabs in the back of the neck. But he's in the whole movie. But yeah, so I knew him before that. But he came and he did an amazing cover. It's on the YouTube channel. He did an amazing cover of Bomb Track by
Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine, acoustic style, dude. And I was like. But he came back maybe 2 times in the next 5 years for some odd reason. But like he came that first night and just
He was there for that
killed
festival.
it, dude. It was fucking great. Yeah.
And you played?
Herbie
I
Shaw
was
was
there too.
What did you play?
I don't remember the
go-
songs. I don't remember the songs I played. I'm sorry, but I did play a set. I remember that because I want to support Tito. Because Tito did come up to me like when he said Tim Nugent had asked him. Tito said, "Hey Gabor, so what do you think if I start?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool, man. I mean, the more the merrier." I mean, I was pretty convinced because at that time we were running packed houses at Mika. We could like hardly fit in.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm like,
it's
there
just
has to be enough. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There has to be enough musicians at other places, that there's no competition. We should cover every fucking night. That's
Where-
really what
where
I
would
was.
these-
just 2 nights, and then it turned up into 7 nights, sometimes 2 nights a week.
That's the thing. Like it's
at the pinnacle of it in 2018, I think, or 2000. I think the summer of 16, 17 was like
I feel like 2019, you guys had reached that stage.
Yeah, then it was.
Yeah.
I think it was just a bit saturated at that point. Everyone was trying to do it, not just us. There was other people doing it, and it just, like.
Yeah, there were other
half-assiness.
attempts. Remember the karaoke people? What is that called? Andohany, Neverland.
Neverland, yeah. I went there one time with.
You sent me a message saying this is a joke.
Cece and the Spanish kid, they were like backing tracks and like.
Yeah. That's why I call it glorified karaoke, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it just became a bit too much. But yeah, in the beginning it was just Mika and Yellen, and and then I think.
So a
he
latte
got
house wasn't
Simpla-
in the picture.
No,
a latte
I
house
think-
wasn't
I
there.
think
Not at all.
Simpla was next.
Simpla was next. Simpla was trying to do what they called open stage, but they didn't have a host. And after a while, through a common friend of ours who noticed, I discovered Simpla. He said he was just an American guy. He said, "Hey, Simpla is doing something very similar, but there's like no host." I just walked up there. I played 45 minutes. You should check it out. So I hit him up,
Who was
saying, Maka West.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Maka.
Yeah. He was a big supporter too.
Yeah. He basically
And that
started yelling
he's
with
the
me.
one. He's the one who observed that there's something like that at Simpla. Because I honestly never went to Simpla at that time, or hardly ever, because I only went there if I had like guests in town.
I think that's what everybody did. But
Exactly. Right.
When I moved here, Simple was cool. 2011, 2012.
It was
so touristy.
really getting touristy. It
Yeah,
was
and
really
then
getting
2014
touristy.
it got really, really bad. But then again, like 2017, 2018, they started doing face control a little bit, so it wasn't nearly.
Well,
became cool
when
again.
they
For
stopped
locals,
when they
anyway.
stopped letting in all the stack
Yeah,
parties,
you couldn't come in costume and shit anymore. It was.
that's when it improved a bit. But anyway, so I hit him up saying, "Listen, I'll do a night just like that and see what it's like." Of course, I invited all the musician people. By that time, everybody wanted to play at Simpla anyway, right? So we did an awesome night, and then they said, "Okay, well," so then I started doing. Thanks. That's when we started doing this, what we call Simpla Open Stage, but it was basically an open mic, and it became part of this community too, because a lot of people knew that, hey, if it's Friday, it's Simpla,
Yeah, it was the biggest.
That was the whole
I think
idea.
it was. They each had their own
take
vibe. I think that was the
Yeah,
thing.
and that's what's beautiful.
Mika was get there early so you could get a seat. Or else.
And
you were
did it
gonna be
look the
standing
same
at
as
the
it
bar
does
all
now?
fucking
Like,
night.
just with that
Mika,
long-
Yeah. Well, Mika actually started in the basement.
But the basement's that area, that stage with the.
But it was always
Hey guys,
it was
it's
weird down there.
Where the open mic was that we went to, that you got kicked out of?
Oh, yeah.
That's the one we were talking about, the Retox one.
Listen, we went to that comedy night as well. There was that comedy night in that basement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Listen,
I do remember
that first open mic, like I went to in the whole of Budapest. That was when I was there. I was fucking hammered. I had purple hair. I was fucked. I was like, they didn't expect. I was falling about and shit. But I smashed it when I was on stage. Right?
Oh, so you got up and played straight away?
It took a while, but I was fucking.
That was a Retox open mic, right?
No, this was Mika downstairs.
But that's a
Yeah, so
Retox
it was a
open mic.
Retox. It was a Retox.
Not at Retox, but organized by Retox.
It was a Retox. Yeah, it was
Okay, yeah, got you.
BPH.
Budapest Party Hostel. Say
Was
it on
it?
the microphone.
Budapest
Party
Party
Hostels.
Hostels.
Budapest
Party Hostels. Budapest
When
Party
I was
Hostels.
there, listen, when I was there, I was like, if I'm ever live here, I'm doing this because the fucking crowd was it was banging, it was jumping, and.
But were they mostly
hearing what
guests?
You guys
Yeah, it
have
was
been-
mostly guests from the
Hearing
hostels.
what you guys are saying about how fucking awkward and weird open mics are, I only know open mics to be what I've seen, so that's a totally
Yeah.
foreign idea for
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
to hear that. It's really strange.
Yeah, because by the time you arrived, there was a whole scene,
Yeah, it
and
was,
you-
like, we
most
built that
likely,
scene from
you saw
nothing. Like,
something.
there was nothing. Like,
Did if you
when
hadn't
we started,
built
the
it
whole
when
reason this started is because Gabor and I were like, there was no place to see fucking live music, and it was annoying. You know what I mean? And like,
At least to participate, the whole
did a really good
club
job
scene.
to say banging the live music.
Yeah.
it
The
didn't
whole
exist
club
when
scene
I
was a
moved
bit
here, man. It was
cliquey.
DJs. It was Berlin #2, man.
There was live music, but it was very cliquey, so it was very hard to get a gig,
Yeah.
and very hard to get your foot in the door, basically.
Unless you
And
were a cover
And
band,
were they
like,
were they cover charges for these places?
never? I don't think so.
not for any of our events. For some places, there were cover charges, yeah. Then, with the development of the party district, the cover charges basically went away because everybody just wanted guests because they made the money from the drink sales, not from the cover. So they started
over quality.
Exactly. They started paying bands just for entertaining the crowd, basically, or bringing people in.
But that didn't exist before that. Like, people ended up getting gigs out of the open mic scene because bars were like, there's somebody I worked there.
So
And somebody
that is
Who was
It has.
Who was the first star that come out of the
Tim
open mic
Nugent had?
a star? Like what about
Well,
when did
he
Denny?
became a star? Okay, there was other one.
Denny didn't come until 2017.
16.
Late
So
16,
that was his first
late
visit.
16, early
Okay.
17. Yeah.
The first star. You know who was a star?
Before that.
Okay, but you know who else was a star? You know Cody.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, because the very first regular open mics were not at Mika. The first weekly open mics were at Mika, but the first monthly ones were at Hunia, this other place. Okay, that's just another venue. It was part of the scene, the club scene, an important part of the club scene, and they're the ones who first went for. But we couldn't do the like weekly open mics there, so we did it monthly. And Cody, she was like a rising star. You could tell.
Yeah.
This Hungarian girl who was 17 at the time.
Was she?
Now she has a band. Now she's like almost nationally known, really. She has just won all kinds of awards with she's playing in a duo now, but yeah, anyway, she was really awesome. You could tell that she's going to be something big because of the stage presence and her voice.
That's the thing, like for you guys as hosts to be able to see so much talent coming through, do you like who are the ones who strike you in the past and even now who strike you as these guys are going somewhere or we're in like a presence of greatness here. Kenny?
Who are those people?
It's one of the best feelings to watch it happen, but like I've seen Zubi do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Zubi's got 40 million views on one of his YouTube songs,
man-
dude. I was
this-
like,
40 million.
40 million on
Whoa.
Sugar, dude. Like, I click into it,
Jesus.
it's 40
This man-
million views.
this
Or no,
man
sorry,
rocked up.
14
Okay,
million.
still, like, if
14
you
million
even hit
views.
1 million.
On Sugar.
This
Which
man,
I have a video of him doing it, yelling, by the way. Sorry, Kenny.
this man like rocked up in my open mic at Uri Muri, humble as shit. Just told a few. Denny sent him down actually, because Denny was meant to be there and didn't show up. Obviously, Denny. And then he sent like Zubi, and fucking this big guy's like, "Hey man, really soft spoken." I was like, "Yeah,
He
of
does
course
have-
you can
he has
play."
a really
He's
soft
he's
voice,
so
right?
unassuming, man. And when he got up, holy.
But
You just, but you just like knew, like you knew as soon as
Everybody
like,
knows
that
Zubi
boy's
now,
gonna
he's
be
famous.
huge. And then fucking look at this. Fast forward like what, a year?
A year and a
Almost
half.
to the fucking day.
He came to Yellen. He used to come to Yellen and play the piano, man. It was like, that was his thing. He would just come to Yellen and play piano.
But
or
that
just
was
bang out a couple songs.
That was
like,
before he met Matthew.
That was before he met Matthew. I heard other producers and stuff he's working with
But
now.
then-
But
Yeah. So when did
Even now.
Zubi meet Matthew? Do you guys know this? Like, when did
yeah,
they start
Lynn,
collaborating?
Was it through the open mic?
it was.
It was through the open mic, definitely, and
a year and a half ago.
basically what Matthew told me was that he just kind of saw this guy with a great presence and kind of humble and kind of easy to work with.
Yeah.
So he just started with like one song. Hey, let's just do one song. Hey, I have this idea. Check this. And then, next thing you know, they're like coming all the time and they have
Sure.
like serious followers on Spotify and
So does
YouTube.
Matthew.
So like to keep
and
answering your
Gabriel.
question.
I do have a
There was Zubi. There's like fucking
Arif. I mean, how can we forget Arif? You know what I mean?
It's not even forgetting. Like I'm getting around to these like the people. Alex Torres.
Alex Torres.
Jesus Christ! Like
Yeah.
the talent.
really awesome talent.
Khaled's about now. Like he's been at a few.
Okay,
events, a few
well, then it
He
was.
never came to open mics though.
But he
came
did.
to
He,
open
No, no,
mics.
he
He
has.
never came to our open
Kale
mics.
Sanders.
He has, and he's
met-
fucking killing it. And
Okay.
he still shows up. He's like, that guy's humble.
Yeah. Well, he loved open mics because it was a different thing. Kale Sanders was a hit on this televised talent show a few years back, right? So he got national, and he got almost to the final or something like that. And he was runner-up, something like that. Anyway, so he was nationally known. By the time he came to Lampage, that's another open mic, right? We're talking
Yeah.
about. And
Lampage.
and he saw Zubi jam with Matthew, and they started basically bullshitting and jamming and stuff. And the next thing I know, that's also where Kale Sanders met Alex Torres
Yeah,
at Lampage.
so-
Wait. Let me just. And yeah. And
Ooh, the first sparks have appeared. Yes, the first sparks have appeared.
So I'm sitting over here.
no, I just wanted to
Continue,
get this one
Gabor.
thing. Right, because it was really, really awesome, and there were some awesome success stories like that. Like Alex Torres meets Calais Sundays, right, at some Lampás Open Mic on a Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And next thing I know, in 2 weeks, I see Alex Torres on TV,
Yeah.
you know, accompanying Calais Sundays because they were running for the Eurovision.
I've been on
thing,
X Factor
right?
Hungary, so.
Right.
Hang on a
Oh,
second.
wait, that's the next story.
You
Right.
got to tell this story after this.
So that's that. There's this other Hungarian duo, these siblings, you know, who came to open mics regularly. They sang in Hungarian. I noticed that they were really, really good and great presence and lyrics and everything.
Oh, the
Muzik and Volkova.
The Volkova sisters, or whatever they're called, yeah.
The siblings, yeah.
Yeah,
Muzik and Volkova. And the next thing I know, in a couple of months, they're like opening acts for Quimby, which is like
They're
you know,
really
one of the
fucking.
best.
I see their bill. I see their, like before the lockdown. I saw their flyers and shit everywhere. And they're really. He's a really nice guy.
Very nice guy.
And I really out of the Hungarian legs that used to come and play, they were my favorite. I really liked them.
So, like, to finish answering your question as well.
Coming back to a question that we had a half an hour ago. We
So
haven't
to
let
finish
Kenny
answering your
finish.
question, you've got like even like Ashraf, Cece, like it's very easy to see. Like there's no
The talent.
in our community. There's no bad performers, and like that never fucking happens.
Well, the thing, what I
There's no bad. and each person's unique. There's,
Can I
like,
expound on that?
you cannot fucking I cannot pinpoint like who is. Like that, but Zubi was the first rising
Zubi was
star,
the first
but
you noticed.
any one of them motherfuckers,
Yeah.
Jeff, fucking anyone.
No,
like,
the serial killers was born out of the.
Listen, there's
like,
always
out of
new
that
people
whole thing,
coming.
you know?
There's always new people coming in, and there's always the people going away, and it's fucking fluid.
Yeah, that's the thing. It
Well,
moves
Gabor
in
has
and
a-
out, isn't
Gabor
it?
has a saying. What is it? Open mic is the Tinder of
Musicians Tinder.
Musicians Tinder.
Actually, I didn't come up with that.
And I
Somebody's
think this is
mentioned
the
it.
least cliquey one because, like, before lockdown and shit, this is like the least cliquey one. I've
What,
seen, 'cause
Budapest?
Anybody fucking has joined it. Anybody who has solid,
Okay,
you know what I mean?
I would just add
Well, most of us are
something.
pretty good now.
What I heard just from feedback is the most welcoming scene.
Probably, yeah, I would agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
'Cause
But
a lot
that's
of
not-
people-
That's how we do our shit. man. That's
A
all
lot
I-
of people were newcomers here anyway, and they wanted the community. The reason, I think, one of the reasons this community managed to evolve, even though it's still by accident, was that there were a lot of newcomers, and they found a really, truly open community. Like, that was welcoming. Whether you performed or not, there were other
Yeah, of course.
regulars within the crowd that
Sure.
were never performers. They just loved the scene, and they made friends and everything, and
Look at
it was all really,
Yeah.
really
You
welcoming.
You gotta admit,
Look at fucking Emil.
You-
He
Emil.
doesn't play, but he's definitely fucking.
you have Tito.
big
You have to
part of
admit,
the community.
Yeah.
you guys have to admit the
He's
character.
fucking
hated open mic at the beginning.
Who?
And-
For the record,
Emil?
For the record, Emil.
Oh man, I fucking cut my arms open. Everybody sings all these sad songs. I fucking commit suicide.
So
man.
for the record,
All of them-
Emil is
there,
a
he was
massive
the biggest downer every
Scandinavian
time.
giant,
And
jolly
then-
green giant of a
and
man.
then-
No, you're singing to
and then
a sad
girls
song.
started singing. He'd be like, ooh. all right.
Oh, she good. Where's Zara? We want to hear Zara. No, what was that song that Ash always plays?
I don't know, but yeah, he always bulldozed. He has
The bulldozer.
This whole community has
But that's what I mean.
terms of its own now. It literally is a
bulldozer.
living.
It
human
has its
being,
own
you know,
language.
It does. You know, it's a human.
Okay.
Fucking thing.
All right. So let's talk about some of the characters that the who's ringing? Who's ringing?
So-
Oh,
I turned mine on.
Turns
I'm
off.
not an apple, so you know who that is.
Oh,
Dude.
he's
The
answering
newcomer.
it now.
No, I'm just doing a message saying sorry. I'm on a podcast.
all right. You just do that, guys.
That's the thing
Gabor
about
and Tito. Who are like? We talk about Emil,
Yeah.
and they're not performers.
Yeah.
But there is like
cast of
there's a
characters.
crowd of
Well,
people who have come and supported and really taken up the.
Sabo Yudi, fuck.
Who do you like? Who are some of the ones that come to mind?
Yeah, well, who would always come to open mics? There was always like you'd always see.
Katarina.
Yeah.
Some
Okay,
people
yeah,
just stuck with
there
us.
were always
you
friendly
know?
faces, you know what I mean? That was the nice thing. I'd walk in the Yellen, because it was I did it every Monday except for like one or two for almost 5 years, you know. And it's like it wasn't a job, and I never dreaded doing it. Like towards the end, when I started having to do 1066 and then Davy Burns and stuff, and I was doing it 3 nights a week, I was kind of like, ugh. Okay, it's
Yeah.
only 2 hours. But
Yeah.
like Yellen, I never ever felt like that, man, because I always know I get there. You know, we start 8:30, 9ish. I get there 7:30, 8, setting up. Always be somebody I would, hey Tito, sit there, have a beer and bullshit, whatever, you know. And it was like, it was never a job. It was fun for me.
Yeah.
And I during this lockdown, I do miss yelling. And now, who knows if Yellen's going to come back because of the whole, you know, reconstruction of Blaha.
He was describing how Yellen's just full
I walked
of.
by like a couple weeks ago, and and Juju told me that as well. They're just using it as a storage area for all the construction material for the rest of the renovation of the
that's
building. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are the other
Peek through the window and it's
Wait,
just like
Tito,
bags of
tell me that
concrete.
again. I'll like overlay like some really sad music over this. Like,
Little
violin.
violin.
So tell me more about.
Wait, no, Tito.
That's horrible though.
Wah, wah, wah.
Tell us about how you were on the Hungarian X Factor.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you repeat that question?
Is that really
I want to
relevant
come.
to the open
I
mic
want to
scene?
come back to
Because-
that later. We'll save that as a spare.
Because
Baby.
those guys, that band, I don't think they were friends of mine, but they were actually friends with Tim, the kid that did the original open mic, Budapest Open Mic Nights.com was this Tim kid who had the first one that we were talking about earlier that had
Tim
Okay.
Atkins.
Atkins, yeah, they had the ones where like.
That's not.
But he
about
was
the
friends with the
nights.
guys that I was in this band with that I was on the X Factor, so that's how that whole thing happened. So it does have kind of a little open mic.
Yeah, there's a little connection there.
But those guys never came. But another star that we're talking about who I remember, who was Redbreast.
Redbreast.
Russ Wilson, because he came to the first time I ever met him was in at Mika when it was still in the
No.
basement at the beginning. Is when I met him.
Oh, okay.
And then, but he's one of those guys when he comes, he doesn't come that often. He never tells you he's coming. He just comes, turns up, and it's always a great time because he plays a lot of good music. And it's like,
have you noticed a lot of times it's a date.
oh yeah, he'll bring a date. He'll come and he'll have a girl.
How
Classic
convenient! How
musician
convenient! I
move.
mean,
I'm
and
sure
you
there's
can
a lot
show
of people
off.
that do that. Yeah,
I'm
it's
pretty
a
sure.
great way to show off.
Great way to
Yeah,
show
Pretty
off,
sure
man.
that's
You
how
know,
snags my
especially,
courage.
especially when the host walked up to
Why is Attila not here? Because he's always,
I
he
know.
would always bring girls. He's like, hey, I'm going to go and play a couple
Attila.
songs. And,
That's right. Why isn't Attila here, babe?
There are still, yeah,
true.
but this whole scene is like full of these little sub stories,
Yeah,
you
of
know, and
course.
things like
It's
that.
it's
like Redbreast Wilson, this Hungarian guy who for some reason fell in
Sounds like he's
love
from
with
fucking Alabama.
Americana
I've seen
music.
him. I've seen him.
I believe you.
Open mic.
And
They're playing in his
basically,
band for a while because
yeah.
of this shit.
And
It
then
was crazy.
he, you know,
Where's he gone?
He's here.
he's on and off. Yeah.
He does a lot of recording
He had a
recently.
band.
I've
He had
seen him recently.
Tito played with him and everything.
Yeah.
And he just started coming to these events. Actually, you know how I met him? It was, there's yet another character we have to talk about, and I think he would permit us to, is Steve Cara.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
met him through Steve Cara. I mean,
Really?
Steve Cara is like another godfather. I mean,
He
there are
is- he
several
is the
bosses.
godfather,
There are several
So
bosses
this is
here,
the
and
five
he's
boroughs,
another.
but there's a couple guys that are
Above, that combine the Chicago and the New York
it's like
City
the
scene.
shadowy figures, you know.
Ah.
You know
Right.
Nick,
The guy behind the
Jimmy
guy.
Hoff,
you know, when Nick Fury calls, you know,
He's a Nick Fury.
Those guys are above Nick Fury. You know?
Oh,
They're like,
Jesus.
So there are these levels, right? Anyway, so there's this.
there was an Avengers reference if you didn't get it.
this
The
other
Jimmy
guy.
Hoffa reference was
And what-
terrible. That means they were.
Hey, I'm from New Jersey, man. You know, it's like-
Dude, they.
All right, bring it in.
Mafia is overall kind of terrible. And they live off of crime. But anyway, so let's go back to music.
So Steve Cara,
So Redbreast Wilson came to Hundia way back, probably 2014, right? When it was only monthly open mics there. And then, we started inviting this guy because he is one of the most authentic sounding Americana. Like, what is it, Mississippi Blues? Or
Yeah, Delta Blues kind of thing. Yeah. But he lived in Germany for a while, and that stuff is huge in Germany.
been to the U.S.
Never, yeah. But he works at the Levi's store now.
Well, how
Which is
authentic? Now
ironic.
that, that's really awesome. So he's a great blues and like kind of bluegrassy country.
Yeah, he loves
playing.
that whole black,
really
like,
Okay.
awesome. And even
outlaw
his
country stuff.
pronunciation, it's really awesome.
All right.
So that's that. And then
So that's
we
him?
have to talk about Steve Cara. Steve Cara is this guy who is also a big supporter of jams. He used to organize jams here, and he became an instant supporter of.
He was born here. He's Hungarian.
So he was
left in
born here, but he
56,
left
so
at
escaped in 56.
Right.
In a
Well,
hay wagon
he was
when
2
he was
years
2.
old. Anyway, he grew up in the U.S. and he right now. I mean, he's he knows all the stars in Los Angeles and everything. I mean, he is an authority in the music,
Okay.
in the music business, and besides that, he works for NASA. But
Yeah,
that's,
he's
that's,
also a
'cause
rocket
he's also an
scientist
engineer.
as well. So he's probably the best guitar player I ever met, and a rocket scientist
That's
as
right.
well.
So he was a guitar player.
And one of the
He is.
nicest guys you'll ever meet as well.
And he was a great supporter. He brought a lot of people together too, and he gave all kinds of gifts. Like he built guitars for
Yeah.
people, and things like that.
Not
He's
for free,
amazing.
but he would
So
do it.
this is actually. I mean, the more we talk about it, the more elaborate this scene is. You know,
Yeah.
We're gonna have to
there
have
are all
part two
these
of this.
channels. There are
Yeah,
all
this
these
can't be.
channels.
This was never going to be able to be done in one
No.
in one part. That's the thing.
Because we're gonna have a Kenny episode here.
There'll be offshoots.
I'm alright, man.
Sorry.
No, that's the thing, Kenny. You and I are late arrivals to this scene. This is what today's about: is to find out
the
what happened
foundation,
before we.
But
we
it's
rocked
cool. I
up
mean,
and
it's also great to hear your impressions. You know, when you first arrived, the way you discover. How did you discover it, Jazz? Now, I'm sorry. Joining us is
Joining
another godmother.
Thank you for the introduction, kind host. Oh wait, hang on. Which of you?
yeah, we haven't mentioned
At the Hoff House, if you order some wings,
by the way,
you get a free beer.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and we're still on Volt, please buy our food because times are hard right now. But
Right.
I'm not here to sell the pity story. So moving in from the background. Me personally, how I discovered open mics was when we were running our foam parties back in Fogash, and you were still running the
Sorry, another beer
Tuesday,
out there.
Wednesday night.
It was Wednesday night.
It was Wednesday night at
Only
Fogash.
the summer of 2016.
Yeah, summer of 2016 in Fogash Carrot, and we were running the foam parties next door in Fogash
I went
Has.
once.
And I remember sometimes you did it Fogash Carrot, sometimes you did it in Fogash Has. This was before Insta
Yes.
moved in there.
That was
And then whenever you were doing it inside, then like that's when I first met you as well. Is when I had to go up to you and be like, "Hey, we're just setting things up for a foam party. I don't and like I hate to
Oh my
disturb."
God.
You remember that? Do you remember that? And I was
Yes, I
wearing
do
like
now.
the gray shirts,
Thank
the gray
you for-
uniform shirt
I
with the
remember
bright
that now.
yellow writing. Yeah, you remember that.
I remember those
Oh my
T-shirts.
You remember
for
those
sure,
T-shirts?
for
The
sure.
neon green for the
'Cause
guests, gray with the green writing for the
stayed
staff.
There. I remember meeting you, but I don't remember like meeting you. You know
Right?
what I mean?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But that's how I met Danny Wander,
Who
that
was there and he.
I could see Danny at
Well, he
full
walked-
party as
That was
well,
the first
man.
night he
Yeah,
ever
but
played.
he
in
walked up to
Budapest.
me. He
Is that a
walked up
good
to me. Can I still play? And I barely squeezed him in because we had to close by a certain time, right? And I said okay, because I always try, and I ended up not playing that night, and I squeezed Denny in, and I was like, fuck, wow, he's good. And then he came back, and he stayed longer, and he came back
I
again.
took a shit in his fucking dorm. I was like, dude, I really gotta I'm busting for a shit. And he's like, here's my key, dude. So I went up to his fucking dorm, took a shit. And he's like, yeah, all right. I'm like, yeah. Then he went on stage, and then he ended up fucking staying with me and living on my fucking sofa for fucking
love
like
it, man.
6
Fucking
weeks.
love
He
it.
went
Oh
back
my
to
God,
the UK
he
for like
was-
a couple months. Came back, lived on my sofa for 6 weeks. Went back to the UK for
was
6
a long
months, and
time
came
ago.
back. Yeah, he literally he was here for a few weeks. He lives here now, so
That's
it's
why you
like,
consider him your son.
Yeah,
You always
what,
call
that was
him.
the joke was it was like
You
he's my
always
son
you always
because
call
he-
him your son.
He lived on my fucking sofa, and I took care of him. I fed him and made
Wait
sure
a minute.
he wasn't fucking-
Wait, hang on.
We're
I'm
talking about
lost.
Denny. Denny
Ah,
used
we're
to
talking about
live in Tito's
Kenny.
living room.
Yeah, like on my flipping fuck. Like we
Was Denny? I heard Denny abandoned going on to a like X Factor or Britain's Got Talent show to come to Budapest. That's what I
he
heard.
went Almost.
I heard that as well.
Did you hear that, Kenny?
Did I read that?
He-
Did I read that in a post?
Actually, yeah, I think he
He,
posted about it.
he was accepted. I think is what I remember. This was a few years ago.
Yeah,
and a lot of
for
shit's
the
happened since
live
then.
performances. Right?
And he didn't like the way that things were happening
good for
or
him,
something,
'cause
and
it's
he
fucking
told him to go
bullshit.
fuck
Okay,
himself,
we should
you know what I
invite
mean?
him for the next one
Good for
so
him,
he could
'cause
speak
it's
for
all
himself.
That, all
Yeah.
that's fucking bullshit, that X Factor.
But it's true that he didn't go back
Yeah.
when he got invited. He was already traveling. He didn't go back, and his next stop was Budapest, and the rest is history.
Yeah, because before he came here, he was traveling. Like he sold a bunch of shit,
Right.
and he went to Estonia and Italy and Spain and Greece and all this shit. And then he came to Budapest. Same as with me. It was like I'd been all over the fucking world, and I came here. I was like, oh, I found myself at home. I'm
So
not
many
leaving, you
people
know?
I know have just been
we
like,
call,
"Oops."
and we call it the
It's not
black
that
hole
important.
for a
It's not
reason, you know, because it's like
so many people
the
just
black
go,
hole for
"Oh,
a
shit."
good reason.
Oh shit, I guess I live here now.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
cool.
is a black hole,
I mean,
Budapest,
really,
I just
isn't
had
it?
my 9-year anniversary like a month ago.
Yeah, but listen,
fucking being here.
Budapest-
Did all of you? I mean, Gabor, you've lived here for how long?
Over 20 years now, but I wasn't born here and I didn't grow up here. But, anyway.
But did you
Gabor
come to
remembers
Budapest?
when it was mandatory to wear like mauve colors and like grey and stuff, you know, like
Wow.
Pre-Orban.
pre-Orban.
Well,
Communism, right?
I experienced communism.
But
I'm
you
old enough
fucking
and I'm
did, bro.
He
and I'm
actually
interesting enough.
defected, so like, if
I
we
mean,
talk
my
about
family
communism, he is a
escaped from
defector, yeah.
communist Romania, which was
Really?
not communist Hungary. I mean, Romania had a Stalinist regime. Hungary was like the happiest barrack of the communist countries, the happiest place, right? They had
Albania was
what they
the
called
worst. Romania was the second worst, and then Hungary was like the nicest.
Romania was the worst.
I think Albania was worse.
Okay, but it was not part of the Warsaw Pact. Either way,
They were still
that's a topic for
it
another
was bad
podcast.
enough, all right? Let's just say it was
Yeah.
bad enough. So I experienced that, and then I went to the U.S. I finished growing up in the U.S., and then I came here, okay? But it's been a long time. And
Did
I
you
did all
expect to
kinds of
stay
things.
here as long as you did? Did you come here intending to stay forever?
I had no idea. at
He
that
got married and
time.
had a
You had
kid,
no
right?
idea.
Is that
Right. So from then on, it was no question because I wouldn't leave my kid behind because then
Right.
I also got divorced.
How old
Anyway,
is she now?
she just turned 18.
Keep Jeff
She's
away.
awesome.
Sorry.
Nah. Keep. No. Keep nobody.
No, maybe no. Somebody
Okay,
said,
let's
like,
not get into that. But
somebody said one time
she's
Gabor's
awesome.
daughter's gonna be hot when she grows. I'm like, you fucking sick
She's-
bastard. She's like 15. And I'm like, that was
She's
maybe
awesome,
14.
and
yeah.
she's awesome.
Is she musically inclined?
Yes.
Is she
Is she
really?
going to come to the open?
I already
She's 18,
tried to.
man.
I didn't want to force her, but she knows what I'm doing, of course. And yeah, no, she's
she ever been?
she's been playing piano since age of 6, and then she was in an. Oh, okay, this is a tangent, but just she was in an Oscar-winning movie as a choir member because it was her school. I don't know if you remember the Oscar-winning short movie
Oh, yeah.
Sing. My daughter is in that movie.
Wow.
It was that choir, it was her choir that was selected for that movie, which ended up winning the Oscars. So her name is credited
In
at
an
the
Oscar-winning
end
film.
In an Oscar-winning film.
That's pretty cool, man.
Anyway,
really
so
cool.
she's very musical. She, plays the guitar. Of course, I try to at least give her the opportunity to grow. If she's gonna do anything, she can still decide. I'm not pushing her to come to open mics. She has been to open mics though.
I'm just thinking of the three of you sitting here and your different styles of hosting because you're three very different hosts.
For sure.
I'm looking at Kenny for a second here, and I'm thinking
Lackadaisy.
like, can you
It works
can
so
you
much.
describe
Fucking
each?
works.
I want
I
to
love
hear.
for you, brother. That's,
I
that's not a ding.
I want to hear your perceptions of each other's hosting styles.
All right,
Fuck
all
that,
right.
your own.
bro.
No, it's
Lackadaisy,
nothing
manic,
bad.
and I don't know what the fuck I am.
No, you're not supposed
Listen,
to talk about
Kenny-
yourself.
BBA. Can't be fucking ours.
Kenny is the free for all.
All right. What do you mean by that?
The free for all is that everybody plays as long as they want, and he just doesn't give a fuck. Honestly, he's probably
That is-
outside
It's not that he doesn't
smoking.
That
give a
is
fuck.
not true.
'Cause he
I
does
give,
give a
I
fuck.
give
He
the
honest-
biggest.
I
About the people
I
playing.
worked
I'm
with
saying,
him together. When,
I'm not
when
saying.
Retox
I'm not.
started.
One at a
Wait.
time, one
I'm
at a
not
time.
saying.
Wait, let him finish
One
what
at a
he was
time.
saying.
I'm
One at
not
a time.
saying he doesn't give a fuck about open mics. He just, he's not there to like police people or
That's
anything
why I
like
said
that.
lackadaisy.
So that's why you call him that, and I just wanted to say it's the free for all. That's how I would characterize his open mics.
It's
But it's
30
really awesome, and that's why he selects. And his favorite types of open mics are the ones that don't have
Well, yeah,
a
he-
deadline, that they don't have to end at any certain point.
Woody
Woody.
was the perfect open mic for
Exactly.
you.
That
You
went
used to
on
go
till-
4 o'clock in the
Look,
morning, you know?
every single fucking one I've chose has been the perfect one because they all go past fucking.
And the
shit.
retox, obviously, yeah, exactly. So
I
basically,
like the structure
Orimori as
actually
well,
because it
bro.
gave me.
Orimori was there till I was at the 4:30 every fucking night.
No, I love going to those open mics, but I hate hosting those ones
It's
because
so
it's like I like my open mic with a bit of structure because Yellen was always from 9 to midnight, so I knew I had a list.
Of course.
But I wasn't like a Nazi about it. It was like I know who I have to put on and how much time I
Can I-
have.
can
but you also had to say no to a lot of people.
Yeah, or you only can play 3 songs instead of fucking 10
Like,
because
can
I wanted
tell
to get
you
as much
my
talent
thoughts
on.
it? Can I tell you my thoughts on it? Is that alright? Just so my idea is like we've got a space for people, right?
Yeah, if you have the
And
time, you can
they're-
put as much
they're,
people on, let
like,
them play.
They're coming and they're giving us something. They're the ones that I'm just fucking facilitating a person entertaining a crowd.
Well, we all are.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah, of course.
But so in my head, who the fuck am I to tell a person 2 songs, 3 songs, 4 songs? That's just the way
Well,
I see
you
it.
don't
I
have a
know,
time
I know,
limit,
I
though,
know.
that's
but
why.
that's just the way I see it. So and and sometimes they do drag on. If you go up and do 6 songs, fuck you if you're not
Did you
good.
ever run yelling? You ran yelling for me
Like,
one
fuck
time.
you
Did
if
you
you're
not?
not good. But if you do, it's cool. Like,
Did
even
you-
if your bad is good, man. I don't.
Did you run yelling for me one time?
A few times, bro.
Oh yeah, when I was in the
That-
hospital, I forgot what I
They
was
were
on.
the busiest nights I'd seen in you, and just saying though.
You fucker. Yeah, I was in the hospital, but you understand that it's like
Oh,
when you have- when you have-
anything to
when you
get
have-
out a good open
but when
mic,
you have
eh?
three
Anything to get
hours,
out a good open
and
mic.
Gabor can relate to this. When you have 3 hours and you have fucking 20 people that want to play,
Yeah.
you can't. Who are you again?
But
Who are you
that's
to
why-
pick and choose? You know
but
what I mean?
that's
So you
why-
have to at a certain
You
point,
limit-
but
you
then
limit
you have
their
to
set.
limit them, and you have to let those people understand. Listen, there's other people that want to play as well, and then people that start coming
Since this
regularly
curfew's
realize that because they want to hear those other people play as well, and then they don't want to feel guilty. Like, oh, I played fucking 5 songs tonight, so I didn't get to hear
Since
this guy at the end of the
curfew's
night.
happened, I've understood what it means to have timing because
Yeah.
we've had to have
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But god damn it, I hate
it
it.
sucks.
Yeah.
I
noticed.
hate it
I mean, you
with
don't think
a
I would want to run
fucking
yelling until 5
passion.
o'clock in the morning? Of course I would, but
All right,
that
okay,
wasn't
okay,
the way
okay.
it was.
All right, so
That's true, isn't it? Dude, I love your fucking open mics as well.
Yeah.
God,
How,
yours
no,
are-
I want, Kenny, Kenny, come
I
on.
gotta keep my
One of my
jokes short and
favourite.
concise.
Yeah.
So we've hit you. You talk about these guys. What are their styles? How do you take their distinctions from apart? And you don't have to be,
Kind.
because a lot of people would like to know how you guys see each other as hosts
So
and the vibe.
Can I have your mic for a second?
my problem is,
That's it.
right, I see the good in everybody, really.
Then talk about the good.
So like I can't believe like when I go to Gabor's, it's always fucking busy.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's always busy. He's got people there, so people are coming, and this is all because you and Tito, you all started this shit. So like I've got nothing but admiration for these fucking guys. I've just got a totally different fucking style, which works, and theirs works too. And it only works because it's such a fucking tight-knit community that we help each other in this. Like, when you were struggling for people to come in, like, when you couldn't do it, you call me. Like, if I can't do anything, I'd call you guys. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And we are totally different people and different styles or whatnot. Tito's a cunt. But I'm joking. No, but we are part of the same, we are part of the same unit. It doesn't matter if we're like different people trying to fucking better the city. That's all we're doing is bettering cities.
That's it. That's exactly what you're doing.
We all don't have to see eye to eye on this shit ever because it's like
That's all.
it's a community and we're family as far as I'm concerned. Some
And we could
people are
talk about it,
estranged.
man.
That's the thing. You're a family that you've built from the ground up, and it's been added to and stuff. But, like I mean,
Well, my biggest thing about open mic was that never mind.
Too lazy to hold a mic.
I don't want to hold the mic. She took my
I
mic.
was gonna ask a question, and then he kept talking. Sorry.
Who? Kenny kept
Yeah, yeah.
talking.
No, as in like I
cunt.
wanted to, yeah, I wanted to.
Fuck off. I've like said about 3 things this whole thing.
I forgot my train of thought now, damn it. 'Cause now I'm holding the mic. Now I feel like
yeah.
But
Come on, Tito. You got the floor.
I'm the only one that's not on level with everyone else right
But
now.
do you think there's a distinction between these two guys and the way they run things? I've noticed.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think there's a distinction between all three of us. That's the kind
That's
of
what I
the-
love.
Yeah.
That's why
That's what I
they're all on
love.
different nights. It's like people go to Yellen for one reason, they go to Mika for another reason, they go to Kenny's thing for another reason.
Okay,
It's-
this is what I was going to ask. The venues you choose. Did you choose them?
They chose me.
They chose you?
Listen, yeah,
Did
they
they
choose
me,
choose
man.
you, man. Like, that is
choose
it.
you for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you
So
see
the-
how I fell into every single one of them.
Yeah.
And Yaz, you directed
Well, I
me
remember
too.
when
Yeah.
Yaz started this bar, and I said, "You need." She's no, I already got Kenny, and I was like, as soon as I asked, I already knew that. But it was like, yeah, I can see that it's gonna work,
It's
because
a
this
Nuri
is
feeling.
he's,
More of a Nuri
he's a
feeling.
Budapest party hostel.
I'm younger, up and coming.
No, but you fit into the scene much more than I do. You know what I mean?
I think no, you know what it is? It's like,
talented.
I think it's like you said, everyone's got a different style of how
Sure,
they
of
how
course
they
they
run
do.
open mics, and I think that Kenny's is the one that best fits the late night open mic, the one that
Yeah, yeah.
starts late and ends super late. You guys are really really great and have gotten really really great over the years at managing those ones where you have a timeline. You have to be done by 10. You have to be done by 11. You know how to like get people out there early. You know how to set the stage
Yeah.
early, and that's just what you do. And
Well, I kind of like to think that I look through who's playing in that night and kind of. It's like a playlist as a DJ. I kind of like, I know this person's going to work well with this person next, or that person should go on later, or this person, so I
There's
always
some dynamics.
That's some advanced open mic hosting.
You have to like look at the people that are signed up and be like, all right, you can't. If I put this person on after this person, everyone's gonna leave the fucking room. So I have if there's a good vibe going, I literally
that is so true. Especially when you have a timeline.
It's literally like it's like a playlist.
Especially when you have to end by a certain time.
Yeah, of course.
And I think both Tito and I had to.
You know a Reef's gonna turn up at 5 minutes before you close. Go, can I play a few songs, man? And he always 10 minutes before we close. I leave 10 minutes to the end for Arif every night at Yellen.
Guys, I have a question.
User masters at your craft. Like I'm basically like user like what you just said there is like
Kenny, you're like jazz. You're a jazz player.
He's a jazz drummer, man.
I'll lick my finger, put it in the air and go, all right, this motherfucker, and just point it. I swear to God,
been doing it for a year or so,
feels
man.
like at that fucking time. It's like fucking.
It's the same for me. That's what I feel like at that time too. But I kind of look around the room like, hey, you're next.
Or if somebody asks,
and you also have to think time. And that is like, a huge.
This guy's. I know this guy's gonna play fucking 4 5-minute songs or
but then
2
you know
5-minute
you could
songs
go out
or
for a
1
cigarette.
25-minute
You
song.
don't have a conversation if somebody's too long. You could. If you're watching that, man,
that's the biggest thing is trying to find out the time to smoke, so you can go. I can put this down because I want to.
Especially when you're doing sound too, because you were.
Yeah, because I always do sound as well. So the Gabor has this thing he plays, but he doesn't do sound. So like I do sound and host. So it's like I'm doing 2 things at once. So it's like, I can put this guy on. He doesn't need any extra attention when he's on stage. And there's always drama queens. I won't name any names, but
I had a question.
Right.
I had a question.
There's a Hungarian girl who's very demanding.
No, it wasn't written down.
I don't want to say.
But there's some people that are very demanding. And I remember one time I had to look at somebody. I'm like, it's open mic, bro. Fucking relax.
Yeah.
It's not Wembley, dude.
Because they're trying to get all kinds of effects and shit.
Can I get more of this? I'm pretty good at sound engineer. I'm going to make you sound as good as you can.
What? Shut up. Fucking, is that better? All right, go.
Without naming names.
Yeah.
Who have been the biggest diva situations?
There's one that stands out in my mind above all.
Dude, I swear to God, I think we all say the same thing.
Yeah. She fucking told me to fuck
did.
up. Moody one night, she told me to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we don't have to say who
It was actually, I was there that night.
We all know. I think we're all thinking about the same one.
Are you all? Come on. And on the count of 3.
Nah, we can't. No, you know what? No, that sucks. But we all know who we're all talking about.
She doesn't shave.
Listen,
or maybe put some bra.
this is a problem.
She was a good artist, I must say. Yes.
I really like her.
She was an awesome
How
artist.
about this?
She
Just so we know
annoying
we're all on the
because-
same page. I'm gonna whisper the name, and then on the count of 3, you all have to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait,
I
all
could cut
right.
it out.
It's gotta be.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
All right, I might edit that out.
What her biggest diva thing that annoyed me is she's supposed to be this new age hippie, and like women's rights and all that shit. And she'd always come up to me and hug me like, Tito, can I play tonight, please? And just rubber bare titties on my fucking chest. She never wore a bra. I'm like, are you a feminist? And I'm like, how is this? And that she would use her womanly ways to weasel her way into playing, and it would just drive me nuts. I'm like, you're supposed to be a feminist, and this is not what feminists do.
Listen, she definitely drew attention.
I had a totally different experience with her, man. I had a totally different experience with her.
Well, of course you do, because you're Kenny.
It's true. Like,
You had a full on.
fucking.
From what I remember, it was a full on it was a verbal stoush.
You know what? I have to say, by the end of that episode, the one that you're talking about, I kind of had respect for her. Because on one hand, I could completely, I could see myself doing that at, in a certain mind frame. Like, if I was, pissed off enough, I would have just snapped as well. Like, I could
tell
see
people shut
myself
the
doing
fuck
that.
up.
But here's the thing.
Here's the thing. It's open mic. It's a laid back. What we've built this as is a laid back, calm, no judgment. That's the thing. It's like I come from a town like every band in my city fucking hated each other because it was like, oh, I'm better than you, I'm better than you. I fucking hated that. And it was like if we didn't have that attitude from my hometown, there would have been so many great bands. You know what I mean? It's like if you look at Seattle, all those guys from Seattle loved each other. They didn't fucking. There was no. There was sure there was bickering and shit, but they didn't.
Dundee's
They all
the same.
supported each
Dundee's
other.
the same with that.
You know, and like my town was like one band. Oh, fuck your band, fuck you guys.
What was your town again?
Toledo, Ohio. Shit, but there's a few famous people from there, but not Katie Holmes. But it's a different story.
Didn't you sleep with her?
I did, yes.
Ah.
Don't put that on the
Katie
podcast.
Holmes is in
Do
Dawson
not put
Creek.
that on the podcast.
Katie Holmes-
I don't want Tom Cruise to come looking for me.
That's definitely
Katie
one of those
Holmes is
highlights we're going to put out there.
Katie Holmes is in Dawson's Creek. Look her up. All you
The time
millennials.
Tito fucked Katie Holmes. All right, that's
She's
going to
came
be
to
It
taste
was
it.
when she was fucking
Oh,
on
when she,
Dawson's Creek.
no, when she was in that, she was the shit. bro.
Dawson's
That
Creek.
much nicer.
James Vanderbeek. No.
Yeah, hopefully before. I fucked Tom Cruise's ex-wife before Tom Cruise did. Anyways, but that was the whole point of this family or community is there's
No judgment.
There's no judgment, and that's, you know, of course, everybody's got the little snide comments about each other, but we're all open about it. You know what I mean? We're like, we'll tell, like, you know,
Yeah.
Gabor and I have our differences right now, and whatever, but we'll take the piss out of each other, but we're not going to get into a fucking fist fight about it, or, you know, or boycott. It's like it's.
We don't.
No, and that's why this community has become what it has, because we all support each other without massive judgment. Yeah, okay. You know, some people don't like this, some people don't like that.
But it's like a family. I mean, there are all kinds of family feuds in
Have you
every
ever seen that movie,
family.
Yeah,
Big
every
Night,
family
the Italian
is
movie,
every
Big Night, where they all fucking sit
Yeah,
at the
they
dinner
sit
table?
there and just argue half the time.
Yeah,
that's
This
the
is
way it
Italian
is.
from fucking from
Me?
Melbourne. aren't
Me
you?
Italian.
Talk about
Come on, man, you got to be an Italian from
I'm
Melbourne.
not an Italian from
Wog.
Melbourne. I'm not a wog.
You gotta be a wog,
I'm
man.
not a wog.
But
Talk about arguments. Remember our first night at fucking
we
Retalks?
fucking
bro?
almost wanted to kill each other. No, I think,
So funny, bro.
What? I haven't heard.
Yeah, what is
What
it?
happened?
What
happened?
happened at Retalks? What made you
We
almost?
just-
I fucking completely forgot what happened. I was running
We
sound.
just
he
had
was
two
on something.
different ways of like looking at shit, and like
Yeah.
he wanted his way. And before we even started, we was just like fucking. It was funny, man. he said like we got
are
so
me and me.
fucking drunk.
I
we
love
got
Kenny.
so
I love Kenny to death. We are
we
both
got so
fucking
fucking
pissheads.
drunk as well. And then I remember
But
a moment
we do business
where we were
completely
arguing
different.
like fuck. We were like shouting in each other's faces, and I left.
You're like, I'm gonna,
Never heard.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking
but-
punch
yeah,
you,
but-
but I like you too much to punch you. Like, you was like this.
I left him. I
Fucking
went to the
walk away.
toilet, and then when I came back from the toilet, Tito was like, "Did you just punch the wall in the toilet?" And you know how far the toilet is away from fucking. I was like, "Yep." He was like, "Oh shit, I heard that."
So that's why Kenny and I's experience together, working together.
then it was
like,
great. It was
we
good.
had a great time.
Then
I
it
really
got
did.
really fucking
and,
good, man.
But again, like she said earlier, you are perfect for the late nights, kind of.
Yeah.
For me,
Then Jeff
yeah,
came
I get
on-
too pissed.
Jeff
I get
came
too
on
fucking
board.
drunk, man, and like
Jeff
I
came
feel
on
like there should be
board.
a level of professionality that when I get that drunk, I'm like, all right, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. And you're like, oh, I don't give a fuck. You know, this is what I do. You know, it's like.
I mean, do you guys usually get a bit drunk when you get in the
Oh,
I know
I can't not.
you do. You do as
I
well.
can't not do this job sober because I'm not funny. Like
Let's
I said
just
earlier,
say-
like I have to have a couple beers or
Let's
else my
just-
jokes.
Okay,
let's just
okay.
say, when
Or
Jeff,
at least
when
I
me and
think I'm
Jeff,
funny when I'm doing
when me and Jeff took over at Retalks,
Yeah, after
there
we
might
took
have
over.
been a night I took ecstasy when I was doing it, bro. It was fucking,
Anyway, so,
there might have been.
Let's
a
not
time.
get into that.
fuck it, whatever.
It's a podcast.
But
I'll get
everybody,
over it.
Who's gonna listen to
okay,
this shit anyway?
okay,
exactly. Who
Tito,
does listen to this?
Tito's open mics. If I can go back to the original question, they have a character because he adds his own character to the whole thing and his own comments and everything. Yes, I'm talking about you, man.
No, but it's a
And
shit.
it's iconic.
It's a shit. I do this.
Yes,
like,
it's iconic,
I do
dude.
this whole kind of dead
Now,
fan
get out of
shit.
here so we can actually hear what Gabor really thinks of you. So
No,
anyway.
really. No, I really think that he created this style, this, and he adds his character to the whole thing with his comments and everything. Sometimes he makes comments about the women in the audience, and everybody accepts it, and not everybody likes it, but everybody accepts it, and that's him. That's him. And he's very insightful. Sometimes, he will even play some more chords from the same band that the performers just played and things like that. So he some of the witty or sometimes not so witty. It doesn't matter. Remarks that he makes, but it can be, it adds character.
But he's a character.
It adds character. Yeah, absolutely.
Because out of
never mean to
Dude.
people.
no.
That's why I fucking felt like me and Tito when we first fucking met. We
We
at
really, like,
each
kindred
other
souls.
from the fucking. It's from the minute we met. It was so funny, man.
I'm an American, but I feel British. I can take the piss out of people and not be offended about it. I understand what taking the piss is about, and that's why Denny and I became so good friends. He's like, "Well, you're not offended by that?" I'm like, "No, I know you're taking the fucking piss." He's like, "Do you even know how to say take the piss?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm not a fucking idiot. I've been living abroad since I was fucking in my 20s. I'm not an idiot." But yeah, Tim Newmanhead once called me sardonic. And I had to look up the fucking word because I didn't know what sardonic meant. And I'm like, oh, that is me, goddammit.
What is sardonic mean? What's the
What does
definition?
It means like self-deprecating humor that's like dry, like self-deprecating
Yep.
humor, I guess.
You're right.
Yeah.
He definitely
It's
has
me.
that.
What is it? What's the word?
He definitely
Sardonic.
has that style.
It's
I'm
a
gonna start
sardonic
calling you sardonic. That's your new
But
name.
Thanks.
Sardonius.
Sardonius.
Sir Sardonius Slack. That's all right.
Sardonius.
I love it. That needs to be, that should be your stage.
That is on
name
the
now.
tombstone.
My porn name, yeah.
Your poor name.
The Sardonius.
Okay.
Mr. Small Sardonius Slack. That's all right. We need the small penis. Bring in the Sardonian. The Sardonians here.
Sardine size. All right, now.
There is
Size
times when Gabor's
He rambles a bit. Gabor
when
tends to
Gabor's
ramble.
hosting.
Oh no!
Oh, really?
I deny that.
We're like, Gabor, just shut up and put the people on, man.
Wait a minute.
Nobody has ever said that before. No, I'm so shocked.
This might be alcohol related.
Gabor, sometimes when you're hosting, the cringe that evolves in me is so dense. Like it's tangible. I can feel the cringe. Like
Okay, I'm sardonic.
I
He's
love
really
it.
fucking Michael
but I
Scott.
love it, and you
You know,
get
I'm
like that's
sorry.
it. You get away with it. Like that's
Listen,
so
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing something,
Yeah. See,
Like
I'm
it's
saying-
like,
whatever
I
you
see
do
Gabor.
works.
I see
So,
Gabor as
never
Miss.
stop it, man.
Let me speak. I'm the fucking host. All right, Gabor. I see.
He's the
as-
host.
You got
amongst
fucking.
hosts.
You
Jesus,
asked
I
three
know.
hosts to come on.
He's trying to get a word in edgewise against three other
I've got
hosts.
3 other hosts
Is it
here
not
that I'm trying to
edgeways?
control.
that's what happens when you invite
took a
3
whiz.
hosts.
You've got
I just
4
took another whiz, I'm
hosts
okay.
and 1 podcast.
Shut the fuck up.
Good
Roy.
luck. Good luck.
I was gonna say. This is a battle.
Moment of
Of
silence.
And
Let him
Snoop
get
Dogg
it
has
out.
been in the room, so things have been fucking.
Snipe Dog, just taking snipes on the side.
So,
Mr. Nice.
Joker, you were trying
Very.
to host.
I'm just about to, and you interrupted me again. Fucking shut up, Kenny.
Cunt.
I always saw Gabor as the nice guy. So he's had probably the most experience. So he's he's the warm center that everyone kind of crowds around when you want to feel comfortable and stuff. You're a fucking character joker.
I'm a dickhead.
No. You've just got the cheek. You bring the cheek. You don't have cheek. You've just got straight edge fucking
He's
like
born cheeky though. He's Scottish.
It's not cheek. It's beyond cheek. It's just like straight up fucking like
He's funny though. Like,
I
we're
don't
all,
think-
we're all funny in our own ways.
I don't
But
think
we're
you know
all
what you're
funny
talking
in your
about.
own way.
But fun, like when I first started doing this, I was in a cover band for years, so I knew how to like be on stage and make say
'Cause that's the
stupid shit,
presence,
'cause
right?
That's what you have to do to make people entertained.
Yeah, you're on
but
the
when
stage.
I first started doing open mic, I was scared to death. I didn't know what to fucking do. I would literally look at jokes like bad dad jokes, just so I would like have some material. Like, why does Michael Jackson love Kmart? Because I was the little boy's pants half off. You know what I mean? Or what's Beyonce? What did Jay-Z call Beyonce before they were married?
That's a question I-
Beyonce, you know.
I was thinking-
I
But
I
that was one of the
scared.
things I wanted to find out from you guys. Like, do you get nervous when you get up there?
Not
When's the
anymore.
most? Is it so common now that you don't?
No, I
but
don't
like,
anymore.
Not anymore.
see, this is a weird thing. Like, as a teacher, like, I still get nervous before
That's
every
different,
class, no
because
matter
it's a
how
different-
many times.
Sometimes I get
But
nervous
the thing
before
is,
a performance.
We're
I don't get
musicians. I
nervous
think the
before
different thing
hosting.
is, as being a musician, I get nervous
It's
before a
weird,
gig.
right?
But as musicians dealing with other musicians, I know what they're going through. They know that I know it. They respect
that's
you
so
because
true.
they know I'm a musician.
That
so I
is-
think they feel more comfortable
That's right
than
on.
somebody. No offense, Joker, but like if you went up there and were hosting and
I haven't
you're not
got
a
that
musician, they would be like, who the fuck's this guy? But they respect us because they know we play, so
And we respect them.
There's a musician respect,
and we respect
them as well because we've all been
We
there.
know what they're going through, so we know how to put them at ease. At least we try. I certainly try, and that's why might be Mr. Nice Guy because I try to
You're
put
not always
everybody
Mr.
at
Nice
ease.
Guy, but none of us are.
I honestly
I cannot imagine Gabor being a prick. Come on.
I have video of him fucking yelling at me and Jeff like, God fucking damn it, you stupid
Because you
But to be
Well, it
fair-
had
you
nothing
and
to do with
Jeff.
Jeff and I either. It was the fucking
Listen.
sound at Simpler one time, dude. And he
But
was like,
to be
just plug it in
fair-
and play. I'm like,
No, that was Stag Party. That was probably Stag Party. You meant Simpla.
Kenny,
You were
So
talking about
to,
Simpla.
to be fair, as a job though,
it's not a job.
but listen,
you look at it as a job,
It's a mission.
But to be fair, as a thing to earn money, Yaz is out, so I could say this like, fucking that's crazy. But you get paid for this shit. It's
Dude,
like,
I got paid
it's the
shit in the beginning. dude,
best
so.
jo-
But to get paid for just doing it.
Like it's
is
the
awesome.
best job.
Well, okay, the thing
There's
is
so
that it
much
doesn't feel
fucking
like
benefit.
work, just like Tito said before.
I
It doesn't
get
feel
to
like
go get
work.
drunk and listen to good musicians, and I get to be the center of attention while I do it.
That's
It's
true.
so fun, man.
And it sucks to say that I'm the center of attention, but I am. I'm the guy.
You
that-
are, whether you like
A
it
lot
or
of
not,
people-
you
a lot of
are.
people-
Okay.
Some people come and say they would
The
thank
cen-
me at the
the
end of the
center of
night. They're like,
attention
listen, man,
shifts.
you
They-
made. You know, the musicians were great, but you made the night. You know what I
It's
mean?
weird.
You helped.
It's so
you
weird
know?
when musicians come up to me, awesome musicians come up to me to thank me for letting them play. I'm like, oh shit, you just came and played for free.
But here,
But
shut
like,
up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Don't
They
tell the
couldn't do it
audience
without.
that.
Here are things they couldn't do without us.
Don't tell the audience
They
that.
couldn't do this without
It's
us.
a very hard job.
That's all.
I'm like, look at Dick Clark.
Yaz
Dick
is
Clark
back.
made a fucking life out of
Wait
being
a minute,
host.
wait a minute.
you
Yaz
know?
is back. It's a very hard job and it's difficult.
We don't get. We're severely
There's so
underpaid.
much we
you
have
know?
to. So
Kenny's
much
just-
we have to put up with.
He was just
man.
surprised that the fact that he gets paid for doing this kind of work.
Well,
And
it's
he's
like
surprised he gets
I
paid
was
for
like,
doing any
I was
kind of
like,
work. Have you
okay.
seen
Let's-
him?
I was
Dude,
like,
I
okay,
mean-
Yas is away. So
I felt at the beginning, I felt uncomfortable getting paid. It was like getting paid for sex, because I
You
just
weren't
had a
very
great
good at that
time.
either.
which is
Are you
okay in this
saying,
day and
I
age.
just had a great time, and then they're paying me. I felt uncomfortable at the beginning. Well, then I
again,
kinda
it's from Staten
I kinda
Island.
Get used to it.
I mean, I think you overestimate what a good time prostitutes have when they get paid.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not having the greatest time of their
I'm
lives.
sure the prostitutes are not enjoying every single.
I'm not talking
open
about
mic.
prostitutes. I'm talking about
I'm sure there's a few
I'm talking about-
Johns that they're like, oh, that was pretty good. But a lot of times it's a 75-year-old fat guys on top of you going,
I'm not
this is
talking about
not-
prostitutes. I'm talking about private individuals when they're having a great time having sex and then getting
All right.
paid. And they,
Okay.
I'm not talking about prostitutes. I'm not talking
Jeff
about
is not here. This
pros.
does not divulge into the 69 song. Probably the most iconic open mic song ever is the 69 song.
Ever.
That guy kills
What other
it
ones?
as
What
well.
other ones? What other ones?
Well, as we mentioned, Sugar by Zubi because he's got 14 million views on YouTube.
And then
And you can find that on the Budapest Open Mic YouTube channel.
and then we have Jealous Type.
Wow, there's plenty. You got Denny,
most of these
fucking
songs are iconic
pole
in the
dancer.
fucking-
I was gonna say pole dancer.
Is that-
pole dancer?
yeah.
I've not heard
Rach.
that. It's so
I haven't
You know,
heard that.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. No, that's the different one.
Yeah, no.
What about the 13th century Turkish song?
Yo, of course. That's I love Arif. But somebody close to me the other day was watching an open mic that happened, I think, somewhere in the past. And like, does he not know any other songs? Because he always just like he plays the same. I'm like, Arif knows he's an encyclopedia of songs, but he just chooses to play those same fucking songs all the time. It's like
Not always.
songs,
Not
he
always.
does. I know. I was in a band with him, dude, and that was the hardest band I'd ever been in my life. Was learning Arif's fucking rock and roll punk style
His
songs
rhythm.
because I'm a straight fucking rock and roll guy, man, and he puts all this weird, jazz. Turkish rhythms together, man, and I'm like,
He's
I
fucking
find myself
great, man.
counting, and I'm not that math is not my strong suit.
He's great, man. He's
No, I love dude. Arif, he made me. Him and Jeff made me the best musician I could ever be. Because before I met those guys, I thought I was a good musician, but playing with Sly and those guys,
Yeah,
it just
dude,
made
this is-
and that's another offshoot of this. What we were talking about, this open mic community.
You just get better at
Is
what you
that
do.
you're always out, and like he always plays open mic. I don't, but I like when I was playing with Jeff, I was always playing bass at least 3 nights a week. Before I was doing that, I was in a cover band, and so I was just playing the same shit all the time. Now I'm improvising and doing things that it just taught me a totally different way of being a musician. I was
without this scene, like I would not have my music out
Yeah.
in the world.
When that's the thing too. When I first met you had like 1 or 2 or 3 songs, and I'm like, dude, learn some new shit. And then you come back, you learn 1 or 2 new songs, and now you have a repertoire. You can probably have a fucking whole
Like
gig.
I had a massive repertoire before.
I know
just
you did,
forgot
but
it.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
You
That's
said-
like 5 years without playing music.
but
man.
can
It
we
was
say
horrible.
that? Can we say that this scene inspired you, Ken,
It was.
or motivated you, or
Ken.
somehow
It was right place, right
pushed
time.
you? Good,
Right
cool,
place,
cool,
right
cool.
time, bro.
That's all I was curious because it has happened to a lot of people, including the hosts. I mean, look at Tito, look at me. I mean,
Yeah.
I cannot even put it into words, like how much I benefited from it musically.
Yeah.
It's another thing that sometimes I now prefer hearing other people than myself. So there are many nights where I don't play at all.
Well,
Because if there are enough players, I don't want to take the time away from them.
that's
this
why I
is
had to learn my shtick, because it's like I can't sing, so
Yeah.
right.
that's the difference. That's what sets me apart from the two of you guys. It's like you can always get up there and fucking play a couple songs. And
It's just
start
to fill,
the evening.
just to fill time.
I can't
Never
wait.
So
heard
I have
you
to be.
sing.
I have to walk
sing.
around. So my thing was at Yellen,
can't
if there
wait.
wasn't no people, I would just sit there and walk around and bullshit with everybody and create a nice atmosphere. You know what I mean?
cool.
And like, buy people shots and drinks and just have a
Yeah.
good time. And like
Did you
make
guys-
sure that
That's
you
one
didn't
way to
realize there
do
was
it.
nobody playing. Then when people started playing, they're like, "Oh, this is really good. We didn't realize there was
How
30
long?
minutes of dead air in the beginning."
How long do you think this shit could go on for like this?
This, if it wasn't a lockdown, it would still be the same. I think. I
It
don't
would
know.
be-
I think it might
it
have
would
burned.
be-
I think it was at the precipice of burning itself out, because it was like fucking 3 nights and the same, or three open mics a night and shit. It was like
Just on that.
it became so good, and everybody wanted a piece of it, that it started falling apart. I mean, people were picking it apart, and it was just sinking.
Well,
it was like it was
it's
sinking.
also-
it.
but
The
it's al-
the core was still there, of
It's
course.
also the question of reaching out, and honestly, since I speak Hungarian and all that, one of my missions has been to reach out to like
you
new
brought a lot of new people into the
audience,
scene,
a new pool of performers, because there are new people growing up every year,
Here's the
all
thing.
these art school, all these music schools, and I really started
And I think
focusing on also
were good with
reaching out to the local, up and coming wannabe musicians, who might be very, very talented. Not every time, but most of the time, I would say they were really,
But they get
really
to work
good.
on their craft.
'Cause most people have enough humility that
Most people.
first they come and they check out the scene. They
Zoki and
listen.
Dora. They told
Yeah,
me, like,
exactly.
They came to Yellen like 4 or 5 times before they even got up on stage,
Yeah.
because they didn't think they were good enough to play.
They
And
listen.
then
They
go,
listen.
"They're
They listen. They
amazing."
try to. They try to get the
literally was
vibes,
like, "No,
and
we're
then
not
they
good enough
sign
here."
up.
I'm like,
and then
"What?"
they sign up, and that's what a lot. So basically, I really kind of tried to make an effort, because I knew, and I'm still convinced that there are still a lot of people out there that we have to reach out to.
And that was the biggest
to
thing for
bring
me
it
with
in.
Yellen, was that Hungarians always felt when they would come, they wouldn't feel very welcome. They always felt like
Well,
they were
because
not
it
welcome.
was so
I'm like, because
Anglophone.
we get so many tourists or student,
Yeah.
Erasmus students and shit at Yellen. It was always very English speaking, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like that. So when Hungarians would come, I'm like, listen, man, I'm sorry, but you're more than welcome here. It has nothing to do, but just these are the people that happen to come here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So-
But then there will be other venues, that have a bigger Hungarian. Like Mika always had a Hungarian
Sure,
audience
it
too,
always did,
because
yeah,
they were
yeah.
regulars going there just to chill, just to have a
and-
drink
and
or
Mika's
something.
More
you
of
know?
a,
Yeah,
like,
it's
Yellen's
part of
more
the
international
scene.
kind of.
But Mika is part of the
hipster-
Mika is part of the local scene. For example, Lampash.
Lampash is a.
It's now everywhere.
It's like
It's now
fucking
everywhere.
Berghain or some
That's a
shit.
big-
You know what I
that's
mean?
a
It's
big
like,
off.
But anyway,
it's like if you go to Budapest, did you go to Lampash? Yeah, I got herpes in the
That
fucking
is-
toilet.
that
You know?
is-
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
But-
That
but-
has
something
always
jumped on
been
my dick. I don't
my
know.
quote unquote competition in what I want to do with open mic.
Lampash.
But not
But
in a competition.
but that was, I understand that, but that was an accident too, quite honestly.
Lampash?
The way Lampash surfaced was actually through this guy Gergő, who was the event manager at Ellátóház, and he's the one who had contacts with Lampash. I didn't. I loved Lampash, but
The thing is, I knew everybody
didn't
in fucking
know.
Lampash,
I
but they
didn't
never
know.
offered me the gig.
right. But it was
fucking- you and
Gergő.
Mark
But it was Gergő who convinced
Mark
them
got
that they
her
should
back-
have
all her shit stolen there.
that they should have open mics on Sundays out of all days, and like a late starting one.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's the thing.
one.
It's like,
That's the
who would
one.
have thought Yellen would have worked on a Monday? You know what I mean?
Nobody would have. That was
But
so
it-
unlikely, but it worked out.
Day of the fucking week when
I guess
it's
you get
open.
stuff to the family.
Thank you guys. To the family.
Yep. You're part of it too, yeah.
It's a nice reunion, isn't it? You know,
This is nice.
after a couple of years.
do you
That's
guys-
the nicest palanca I've ever tasted.
is
in
not
my
bad.
whole
Very,
life.
very nice
What is
pulling.
it? It's just
So
Regan
sweet.
What
It's
is it called?
a honey. It's called a honey.
That's,
it's a mess-
that's
it's
my
made.
jam.
Bananas.
Really good.
You better get a few of them for when
It
you
is
open
Angela.
back up, yeah.
That's
Babe,
nice.
put-
You're gonna be drinking it.
Babe, put a
That's
few
me.
bottles aside if you don't mind. I'll,
Nice one. It's a very nice
All right, can
Do you guys-
can-
They have access to
we
the
need I
stash.
think we need to wrap this up. Did you have a final question, kind of?
Well,
or
I mean,
should we,
I had a whole fucking stack
One,
of
or are we
questions.
going to continue?
Well, I mean, it feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah,
I want
I
to. I,
agree.
want to know about
Can we
more.
do this like a weekly thing?
More of the artists and stuff.
While we're locked down, like we just.
We're
Why
doing
not?
we're doing weekly podcasts right now.
We're gonna do.
Well, we can
a
have one
month.
on a Monday night. You know, it's
We're
like
gonna
open
do
mic.
one a month that's like music based. We're gonna do at least one a month that's music based.
You're welcome to use my house as well.
Oh my! I dude, I live across the fucking.
Now, I
street.
love
It's
this
crazy.
lounge,
The fewer
though.
we
Dude,
have
this,
to do
this.
here, the
It's a
better
nice setup.
right now.
The problem with
The
my
fewer.
house now is I don't live with
Yeah,
Jeff and
right
Alex
now,
anymore.
we're
So
broke.
you know, like
Well, here's the thing. Look,
I
was
live with
thinking-
fucking people that have work that have
It'll be-
jobs.
when we do next week's one, we are going to do an open mic, but like on the performers. So it'd be
So you
nice to
have
have
Zubi
like
and-
if you have like
We
you
have
know,
ideas.
you guys to come and like be a
Bring
part
some
of that.
people.
Yeah, and get the
bring
performers
some
in and
people.
get them to play live, like an unplugged session or something like that. But we've only just scratched the surface. I feel like 'cause,
Tito's in town right
I've
now.
said 2 or 3 words
know.
tonight, and Kenny's probably got a whole
Kenny
lot
hasn't
more to
said-
say. And
Kenny's been sitting there patiently chewing his lighter in the corner.
Kenny's got a lot of shit to say about
I
us.
needed to say when I
Nah,
needed to
he said one thing tonight. Tito, you're a cunt. That's all he needed to say.
That's all you.
That's all you
That's all
fucking
he needed to
have.
say.
Your fucking big ass mouth, man.
Tito,
But
you're
to be fair, we should get Attila on as well.
We
and
should
then-
get
and
Attila
is there
on.
anyone
That's
else that you guys think
I
could be worth
honestly-
bringing as a guest or something?
Well, as soon as he recovers.
I honestly think
Did you hear that? Tim!
Timmy.
That is Gabor to a T right
Yeah,
there.
that's the 10% criticism. So like, I think
You
you
gotta
should
bring
have
it-
somebody come down
We gotta bring Fat Thor over.
and sing,
Fat Thor.
Then he-
speak and sing. I think somebody should play a couple of songs.
Yeah. You can
then-
always
Well,
start with
then,
that.
we're, then we'll be only one step away from.
I'll introduce you. You two should play together, and I'll introduce you. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen.
Jesus. All right. So you want to?
I'll be the host.
hosting. The ego hosts are already starting the circle. Yasmin, they're already starting the circle around this.
Hey guys, I gotta go because
He's got guests.
Yes. All
A
right.
guest.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know if it's multiple.
Can I ask one last question, just quickly from each of you? What do you miss most about the fact that we haven't been doing open mics?
This right here,
Just the people.
the camaraderie. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely. Let's just end with that. I think Tito just said it. It's awesome. Thank you, man.
I miss everything about it.
Huh?
Everything. I miss every single
Every-
tiny little
every-
shitty thing.
I just miss the
Even
people.
the shitty things. I even miss the shitty
What do you
things.
miss the most, though?
I even miss
You know
the
what I mean?
stress sometimes. You know, like,
it is
oh, are
stressful.
there
That's
gonna
the
be?
thing. Some
Are there
people
gonna
don't
be
realize
enough
how stressful
people?
this job
Are
can
there
be.
gonna be enough people?
The
That kind of shit. Or are there gonna be too many people? That's bad too.
Well, that's
because
the
then
thing
you
with
have to
yelling.
say
There
no.
would be nobody, and then there'd be a fucking 100 people.
Yes.
You're like, son of a
Yes.
bitch. You know, you're just like.
But I even miss
It was
that.
like I was on my period, you know. It was like fucking hot and cold flashes.
Yes, to answer your question,
The most.
the most I miss the most is like
Pussy.
feeling the next
For
day.
him, not me.
Shush.
The feeling the next day of waking up rough as fuck, and then being like, that was probably one of the best open mics I've ever been.
He says that
Okay,
90%
I was
of the
just
time.
gonna say,
Every
Kenny,
fucking time.
every night, Kenny says
Every
that was the
fucking-
best fucking open mic I've ever had, man.
How fucking good is
Their
it?
microphones for a second.
Did I try?
Kenny, how was it you when you hosted for me last night yelling? It was the
You know
best
what?
fucking open mic
Wait.
yelling ever, man.
I
It
want to
was-
tell a
was
story,
epic,
guys.
epic.
Guys, I want to tell a story here. It's like, just inspired from what you just said right there. Like one great story that I have about. We've already talked about how I first, met you guys in the open open mic community. How like at first we were adversaries, right? I was the lady organizing the phone parties. You were the guys that I had to let know. Oh, sorry guys, we're about to start our phone party. Do you think you can wrap things up a little bit? And that flowered into a beautiful friendship with the two of you when I started hanging out.
I know where you're.
Hey, oh, why you just shut the fuck up right now? Because I'm about to say like one of the. Fuck, what was I gonna say to someone? I had a story that I wanted
About how we met.
About when we met, when you were running, when you were first starting to run your open mics at Uri Muri, and this was week 6. This was like the 6th or 7th one that you had done.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me, you know what, Yaz, I'm gonna give it 10 open mics. I'm gonna give it 10 open mics. If 10 of them have gone well, if the first 10 go well, then after 10, I'm gonna stop worrying. He's like, right now, I'm still nervous. Every open mic that I run, I'm still nervous. And I'm like, where was Kenny 2 years ago when I met you? Was it, no, just over a year ago when I met you. He was like, after the 10th one, if it's all gone well, I'm gonna stop worrying.
It fucking landed on Christmas night.
The 10th one was on Christmas night.
I've done on Christmas night, Easter night, fucking.
And it was the best open mic I've ever been at.
Not to mention New Year's Eve.
It was the
New
best
Year's
open
Eve,
mic I've ever been at.
Best New Year's Eve ever was when Gabor fucking slept through the whole fucking thing at Yellen 2 years ago.
All right. That,
Well, I was
maybe
sick,
that's
man.
beautiful.
these are stories for another time.
Then he met fucking their edits. So.
Take your microphone and get ready to say goodbye, Tito. All right, we're nearly done here. All right, well you will.
Teal's getting a people right now for the first time in a long fucking time.
Do you hear that? That's the voice of Kenny Berg right there. We've finally heard it through the mic.
What
close
did he
up.
say? I didn't hear what he said. I don't understand his fucking Scottish accent.
Tito's getting the people right now.
Oh, it's right.
I'm getting the people.
Yeah,
Oh, whatever.
I don't know.
guys. Gabo's got to go to a guest. You've got to take your work pants off. You've got to wander off down the.
I'm gonna go
down
home.
the
I'm
road.
gonna go home and order some beers on Volt.
All right, you've got a taste for it now.
Oh yeah. I can order beers from
I
you.
got me taste as well, but I'm
Buy some
working
on your way
tomorrow.
out.
I will buy some. I don't know.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Hoff House. Thank you very much, Hoff House.
It's very hard. It was.
Thank
It
you.
was. It was
Thank you for
it was the most
hosting us, Hoff
challenging.
House. By the way, the
comes
best
Gabor.
wings, right?
Here we go.
The best wings in Budapest. Thank you very much.
By the way, the best things, right? Like you were fucking
don't know.
on the gut of your head.
I had some Korean chicken wings the other day. They were pretty fucking good.
Oh, Korean.
There's a Korean chicken place
So
now.
you're saying that we should introduce a Korean
Maybe.
barbecue flavor?
Just
No,
a
it's not
suggestion.
barbecue flavor. It's like the crispiness of them. They cook them in a different batter. That's really nice.
Okay. All right.
I will mention it to David.
Look at Yaz's eyes is twitching.
They were very
at the
good.
moment.
But yeah, I mean your wings. If I want wings, I order from you guys.
My eyes will start twitching if you start criticizing the nachos, because the nachos are the ones that I'm the proudest of.
I didn't. All I saw was Kenny eating them with his hands like
I have a criticism.
like a fucking Fred Flintstone earlier. So
What?
Fucking freezing, bro.
is it cold in here?
Nah, I'm good.
The
It's not
nachos.
cold in here.
Oh, I'm fine.
I think he says your nachos are cold.
The Scottish man talking about cold and worrying about that.
He doesn't know what nachos are.
Maybe that paint is still wet, and that's
I think
what's
he.
keeping you cold.
Can we end? Can we end on the fact that Kenny probably had way too many paint fumes today, or something to get you high? I don't know.
Shut the fuck up.
Paint thinner.
Shut the front door.
Paint thinner.
Paint
Hey guys,
yeah.
thanks for inviting, and
No worries. Thank you so
and
much,
thanks for
all of you.
sponsoring
Thanks for all
drinking
For the
Yes.
games.
record, I do not fucking huff paint thinner.
Oh my god.
It's paint,
I'm
not thinner.
I'm
It's
gonna hit
actual
this
paint.
button any second now. I'm gonna hit this button and end this.
Hit the big red
Alright,
button.
this is-
Thank you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
By the way,
Talk to you soon.
Officially, we had Kenny and
Oh.
Gabor and Tito here. I don't think you even introduced them
More
by
like
name.
they had you.
They had me. They just passed me
Three
around
hosts.
like a cheap whore.
You're hosting three hosts.
The picture said, "Is that the end?" Oh, shit.
Of course, David always comes in right at the end.
Right the fucking end.
He's here to finish everyone off. You know, it's like
At least he didn't leave and not message.
this is the glory hole, fucking the podcast. When he's finished off, I'm here.
All right, we're out. See you later. All right, that's it. No, that's fucking awesome. That was awesome.